Hi and welcome back to another video of jPlay. I am Marcus and today I'm walking through a couple of rounds of Whitehead, which is about to launch on Gamefound, not Kickstarter as far as I know, and maybe it already has launched when you see this video. Maybe the campaign is already over. Keep in mind, this is a preview of, let's say, a somewhat not final game, and it's based on the original Black Hat, which is very similar to the majority of its mechanics, but there are some, say, minor little twists in Whitehead here. A Whitehead, and that's nicely explained in the rules, is an ethical computer hacker or computer security expert who specializes in penetration testing and other testing methodologies to ensure the security of an organization's information systems. And that's basically what we are trying to do here. We are on our way to penetrate, I don't know, a firm's network to some extent, and we are represented by these nice little head tokens. Aren't those cute? Yes, they are white text, they are black text, but again, in this version of the We Are the Good Guys. And the game can end in multiple kind of ways. First of all, if we are moving in here to the critical assets, which immediately ends the game after the current trick. And yeah, I'm saying trick. This is a trick-taking game as its core. Very, very interesting. There is, in fact, an official solo mode that ships with the game. And I think this is a big change compared to the original Black Hat, by the way. Today, I'm not going to do a solo playthrough. I'm demonstrating a 3-player game here. The game plays 1 to 6 players. For the 2-player game, there is a mandatory variant which you have to use. Solo mode plays completely differently, obviously. So the normal game starts with 3 players, but I think the more the merrier. It's definitely absolutely playable and fun playing it with 3 players, but I think 4 or maybe 5 players could be the sweet spot in this game. But anyway, it really plays very nicely, pretty much at all player counts. I only played the solo mode once or twice when I got it from this year's Essen Spiel. Well, thanks so much for this preview copy. So yes, keep in mind everything that you see here is preview, so there are still some minor rule problems, mainly in respect to how the rules are written. The game itself is finished from a design perspective. Keep in mind it's based on a game that's already out there for quite some time, but you may stumble upon some minor whatever errors on some of those overview cards here, for example, and things like that. Okay, I think with that being said, we should be ready to go. Every player starts the game with a hand of 10 cards, and in this game there are no suits whatsoever. We only have ranks, and ranks are those numbers here, so the colors only more or less refer to the number. So the 11 is always this yellow, and the light green is always this 8 here, for example, and the jokers are this, I don't know, pinkish color back there. So again, there are no suits, kind of, but I will come to that in a second. And there is a special card in this game, and that's the Whitehead here. Everyone knows who has or is holding the Whitehead because it's double-sided when you have it on your hand. Everyone knows, hey, you are basically the player with the Whitehead. It counts as a joker, like a normal joker here. You can play it on its own. When you play it on its own, it's basically a 14 rather than an 11 here, for example. That's a one piece. Maybe they should have printed it on this card, a little 14 in the hat or so, making it clear, hey, when you play it on its own, it's a 14. But when you play a Whitehead, you're moving into a Whitehead round. And then the rules of the trick change to some extent, because normally the highest trick wins. As soon as the Whitehead is out, we are playing for the lowest trick that's going to win it. And all of those cards also show a little, I don't know, basically a point value here depicted by the number, but also these dots up here. And usually the higher the cards are, the more points they bring you, but you don't want to end up with points, because with the normal mode of the game, the player who ends the game with the fewest victory points is the winner, is the most skillful hacker and whatnot. So you really want to score low. So you don't want to end up with jokers in your hand or with high cards in your hand at the end of a round, because you do some interim scoring and you will mark this here on the scoring track here. And again, after the game has ended, either by whatever someone is moving to the critical assets, or if all of the pawns are somewhat jammed here on the game board, then we will end the game, and then you will see who has the lowest amount of victory points, that is. And yeah, I could explain you some of those spaces here. Most of those are standard spaces like the root access, like the cell phone here. These are hosts that we are basically trying to capture along our way here. They can award us points or even subtract points, which again is a good thing. We want low score in this case. There is, I think this is also something that they have introduced now with the Whitehead version of the game. There are some overlay tiles here where you can place those over just for variety and replayability. I actually like that a lot. On top of this, this board is double-sided, and I think I will show you the backside of this board at the end of this video. It comes with way more spaces here and way more let's say spaces to place those overlay cards in here, also just adding to the variety and replayability of the game, which I always think is a good thing in the end. Okay, I think let's get cracking now. As usual, I will not give you a full rules primer here. The rules as they are fairly simple. There are some strange edge cases, especially around the Whitehead, but I will try to cover those as well. And as I mentioned, the black player will start the game as the Whitehead. We also have the orange player here. These discs do not come with the game. They just help me to remember who or which of the cards belong to which player actually. So forget about those. And the Whitehead player is not going to start the game. It's typically the player to the right of the Whitehead player. And as I'm playing counterclockwise, white will be the starting player. And again, it's a trick-taking game. You can play kind of any amount of cards. In theory, you have to play at least one card. There is only one minor edge case in which case you are allowed to pass, but right now that's not gonna happen. But if you want to play more than one card, they have to be of the same rank. Again, there are no suits in this game, so if they would like, the white player, they could play the 3/8 here, which I guess is not really a bad thing to start the game with. On the other hand, they also have the Joker here and the 13, and both of those are worth 7 points together. And I think getting those out of your hand relatively early on may not be the worst thing in the world if we are the starting player. And these 3/8s are only 3 points. And I think, yeah, I talked myself into this. So we are playing this pair of cards. Obviously, the Joker can represent any number. So this is now 2 13s. If you play this Joker alone, which you can do, it's again a 14. So also pretty much the highest card together with the Whitehead. And now it's over to the black player, who can now either play one card, which is fine, or the same amount of card as the lead player in this case. So they could not go for, let's say, 3 cards here, even if those would be in the same ranks, whatever, 2, 3 10s or whatever it is. It has to be either one card or the same amount of cards that the lead player has played. And quite honestly, I think we could win this trick actually. Maybe let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. They are going to play pretty much the same cards here. Now we have a very interesting tiebreaker in this game. The player who played the same basically card combination last in a given round or in a given trick is now winning this trick. So in this case, black is winning this trick and also played 7 points worth of cards into the trick. They could have opted to directly go into the game or into the round with a Whitehead, but I think we can get rid of it sooner or later too anyway. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. So then it's over to the orange player. They also start the game with 10 normal cards. Again, there's only one Whitehead card available. I think the final version of the game will come with 2 Whitehead cards. At least the rules speak about this, but they may come with different artwork or so. I don't know. So what's orange going to do? Again, they could play one card or any one card. You don't have to match the trick in any way. For example, if you can or not, you can pretty much play whatever you want. But again, if you want to play multiple cards, then you always have to play the same amount of cards than the lead player. So I think in this case, yeah, why not? They're simply playing one individual card, which means they will definitely not going to win. This is pretty much like discarding, but that's okay. That's also 3 points for the orange player that they have lost. So in this case, again, orange has won. It's a normal trick because we didn't play, or anyone didn't play the Whitehead. So those cards are simply discarded. and black has won this trick, which means they have to move one of the heads. Either they're moving one of their own heads, so black head here, for example, and we all start on two, let's say, hosts here. So we have each one on the public server, and we have each one on the internet cafe. And you see those spaces also come with, let's call it victory points or anti-victory points. And these are 5, so we want to move out here. On the other hand, in theory, we could also move the heads of other players, but unfortunately, we can only move those if they are on negative spaces. So in this case, we can only move black. So I think in this case, we are moving our black head here to the email account, moving them to a 3 instead of a 5. So we already gained or lost, however you want to look at it, 2 points, which doesn't seem like a bad idea. And then we are basically starting the next trick. And again, black will be first. And I guess for now, should we move on? Let's try that actually. Yeah, let's try that. So they're going to play this card, these cards here, another pair of 12s, also a very high combination, but also potential 4-point loss. Again, a loss in this case is a good thing. By the way, in the solo mode, you want to score a high point, so that's something that works completely different here. But again, in this version of the game, we want low points. Next, it's orange again. And again, they are not going to match the, let's say, amount of cards. They are simply discarding also 12. Again, this could be any card. We didn't have to play a 12 here, but that's the mid-nick. Basically an email that you shouldn't read in this case. And yeah, that's basically the orange player's turn. Up last is white. We don't have any pairs. We cannot play the 8s. Of course, we could decide to simply play 2 8s out of these 3. That's totally on us, but I think we can do better than that. So I guess we are also maybe discarding, because we cannot win it. That's for sure. And that's at least 2 more points we could get rid of from our hands. So yeah, I think let's do that. So basically discarding here, black has won the trick. They have started. There's no tiebreaker whatsoever. They simply won this trick. Again, they have to move ahead, and right now we can move over here. We don't want to move out here right now because we are moving from 2 to 5 points and then 3 points, but here is another 1-pointer. So for a long-term goal, and maybe that's something that black could have foreseen. So if you are relatively certain you will be able to, let's say, win 3 tricks in a row, for example, then it would have been not a bad idea to move black 1, 2, 3 spaces here to the user account instead, for example. Because there we are relatively secure, but I think moving now here to the 5, no, we are moving here to the root access. All feeling very, very thematic here. In this whole game, and the whole theme really reminds me of Ricky Royale's Renegade, actually, which again, great game, by the way. And yeah, black did win, so they're leading the next trick again. And the question is, do they want to win the next trick or not? We can get rid of the white head relatively easy. So I guess it's now time. No, I think we are more or less going out with the 11 here for now. Yeah, let's do that. So we are moving out with the 11. Then it's the orange player who could now try to win this trick by either playing an 11, because then you would beat it. We cannot play more than 1 card in this trick. Keep in mind, we can only ever play as many cards maximum as the lead player played. But is it worth it right now? Do we want to move out? Maybe we do. Maybe we do. So we are playing, or orange is playing the 11 here right now, leading this trick. And again, white has to make a tough choice. Breaking this 3 apart, I don't know if it's any good. We could discard the 9 for now, or simply go for the 7. I think we want to go, the white head is still out there. So I think we are going for the, what is it, password reuse. Yeah, that's always a bad thing. Don't do that at home, kids. So we are playing the 9 on top of this trick here. Again, this was the card of the black player, currently leading. Then orange has taken over the lead for the tiebreaker. It's always the last card to break the ties. And yeah, the 9 is worth nothing in this case. So orange gets to move their disc, or rather their head. And yeah, they could move out here of the 5, but now we do have a minus here. That's awfully tempting moving the black player now down to the cell phone. On the other hand, also losing individual points might be the better thing for yourself, because from here we could move over there. Let's do that. Let's do that. So we are moving here to the email account for now, simply to not score as many points as white here, for example. And then it is the orange player to lead the next trick, and as they still have a pair on their hand, they're playing this couple of fours. Up next is white, and you already know their hand. The thing is though, do we want to win this trick right now, or do we want to wait? I'm pretty sure there will be some more opportunities to win a trick moving off the 3 of the 5 actually. So I guess we are going with the 7 for now. Might be a little bit short-sighted, but yeah, why not? We are playing the rootkit into the mix, and orange is still leading this trick, of course. Then it's over to the black player. Black, they still have the white hat, and they could play it out now and hand it over to the orange player. Is it worth it right now or not? I think it's not yet worth it. We want to hold on to this white hat because it's most likely coming back. So for now, let's simply discard the 8 here. Again, orange has won this trick, so those cards are discarded. Orange can move ahead. And honestly, orange is feeling rather confident. On the other hand, moving the black hat out now to the 5 might be also awfully tasty. Keep in mind, you can move other players' pawns or heads in this case if they are on negative value spaces like this one here. And I think, yeah, in this case, let's move this guy down here. We could move him also to the honeypot, but that's only a 1. And the honeypot, this thing can no longer move unless one player is making it here to the denial of service, but that's something I may be able to explain to you a little bit later what those things do here in this case. Yeah, let's move him down here to the cell phone for now. That's fine. Again, orange is leading the next trick, and they feel rather confident with their pair of 2 ones now in this case. They are not worth any point, but still they could make them win a trick. Over to white, and yeah, in this case, again, you know the hand of the white player. Yes, we are totally going to play the 2 8s here, and then black again has to make a call. So again, right now white is leading this trick. Black doesn't really know white now. One additional rule for the white hat is you cannot play the white hat on its own when the lead has played, let's say, multiple cards. So we cannot simply discard a 5 into the trick. We can only play it as another pair, for example. But as it's a joker, in fact, you will always be, or in most cases, be able to meet the amount of cards. In this case, they don't have a 1. If they would have played a 1, maybe they would have considered to actually unbeat the trick, because also then again, if we are playing the white hat, this means the lowest numbers then win. If they would have a 1, they would still break the ties, and then they would win the trick, which would be rather cool for the black player. But I can tell you they don't have the 1 in this case. If they play the white hat with anything else, then orange would win this trick, because again the lowest trick would win, but then they would also have to take the white hat with them, and maybe that's also not the worst thing in the world. But they know orange would most likely move to the -1 here, and yeah, netting them pretty much 4 points, which doesn't sound promising. Still, on the other hand, they want to move out as soon as possible. Can they do that now? I think they have to discard a card. No, they will basically give this trick to the white player. Yeah, let's do that. White can only move their own pawns because right now there is no other player on a -1. So I guess in this case that's perfect actually. So they are moving not in here, they're moving in here because you're jumping over occupied host. There's only a 1 hacker per server rule in this game, which is a -6 point swing for them. But again, the round is not quite over yet. So right now I think we can live with that for now. And white is leading the next trick. And I guess they're leading the next trick with this 8. So now black could actually get rid of their white hat card. still not worth it. It's still not worth it, actually. So let's not do that just yet. So we are playing the 6. So there, black is really gambling very high here. So really highly here. So a lot of things to consider in this game, which is something I really like, especially around this whitehead. And I'm really surprised that I didn't show you the whitehead rules much sooner. Normally you play that relatively soon, but in this case, yeah, black seems to have a plan. Let's see about this. Then it's orange and no, what do we have here? That's a 6. Oh, orange could actually win this. Yeah, let's totally do that. So they are winning this tie, or this trick here in this case. Awesome. So again, those cards are discarded and we are hopping we here, we are hopping here, no, we are hopping here onto the next root access, again moving from a 3 to a -1. But actually black didn't think that there was still a high card out there, so yeah, again was gambling and lost. Obviously in this case, definitely not good news, but orange has to be next. And I guess the time of pairs or triples is ultimately over. So in this case, yeah, I think they're feeling rather comfortable leading with this dictionary attack here, a 5, which white can't win. So we are going for the vulnerability scan. Yeah, let's do that. It's still a point, and again, black has to make a call. That's an interesting one, and I guess, oh, that's actually pretty perfect. That's, oh, wait a second. That's pretty cool. No, so they are definitely going to play this card here. So they will win this trick. Oof, everyone says, are you crazy? We only have this one here left. Insane. So these cards are again discarded, but black has to move a pawn. They could move another player's pawn, but they don't want to be on this 5 here actually. So maybe now it's really time moving our first guy here to the denial of service. It will lock this pawn until the end of the game, but will also allow them to move another player back. Let's do that. So we are moving our thing out here into the denial of service, which means we can now move one pawn back to either the internet cafe or to the public server, but only one color of the same player can be here. So it cannot be two whites here on the internet cafe, for example. The same is true for the public server. And this is the only way how you can move locked pawns basically out of a honeypot in this case, or there's also the FBI server, which in this, let's say, standard version of the game, we are not playing with the FBI server variant, is pretty much another honeypot in this case. And here, who do we want to punish now? The orange player or the white player? Actually, black feels orange played it pretty aggressively, so we are moving orange back to the internet cafe. Haha, back news. Black is leading the next trick. They're playing the whitehead, which basically means the round ends, because the round ends when one or more players are out of cards. All the players are down to one card only. So orange is playing the 2, and again in this version of the rules, or in this version of a trick with a whitehead round, the lowest trick wins. That's a 40 and that's a 2. The 2 wins. Bad news, but yeah, that's the white player. And guess what? We are tying this one here. And again, the player who's tying it has, quote unquote, won this trick, which we don't want to do with the whitehead. So in this case, as is a whitehead round, the winner still has to move a pawn around, but also has to take a whitehead and either all cards that have been played, or basically the same amount of cards that the lead player played during this round. And that's the one little bogus rule in this game. And there are 2 full pages with examples which explain you these whitehead rules. That's the one piece in this game where you think, wow, it's a very, very, very simple game, but this whitehead rules and how many cards you have to take, that's really, really confusing. Again, you get through it when you read this paragraph more than once, but ultimately I'm here to help you. So worry not. Again, the white head card has to be taken by the player who won the trick, that's for sure, and then either all the other cards in the trick, so in this case this would be also those two, or the same amount of non-joker cards that the lead player played. So in this case the lead player played one card here, which means we can take one of those twos here, but as they are worth 0 points, it doesn't really matter, we can simply take them all. But unfortunately this also means we are scoring the 5-pointer here at the end of the round, which will happen right now. We are going into the interim scoring, but yeah, we must not forget to move a pawn, and that's so bad that white won this trick in this case, because they have to move. They cannot move this guy out. This is out. Maybe we will put it on the other side. Now this is locked. We could move the white dude out here, but then we would jump from a 2 to a 5. That's not great. Same here. We could move from a -1 to a 5. Also not great. Maybe I think we will also move into the honeypot. That's at least only one, and then this honeypot is blocked, but then only white would be available here, or the second white token. And I think still I don't want to move to the 5 here. That's a 6-point swing. Let's not do that. So no, we are moving here to the honeypot. This is also called, so everyone can now move freely over these two hosts here basically, and that's now really the end of the round. We do the interim scoring. So first of all we will score the heads here on the board. That's 1 point. That's 3 points for black, so 3 points in total here. Black doesn't have any more cards, so we don't score that any additional cards here. Then it's, let's say, white 1 and 2. That's also 3. Problem is they do have the white head here, so we are moving 5 more spaces up. Really bad. And last but not least, it's the orange player. They are moving to a 7, 5 plus 2, and that's pretty much the end of the round. Next we will discard all our leftover cards. We will reshuffle the deck of cards. We'll deal out 10 more cards. The new whitehead player is determined by simply revealing the topmost card, and starting from the dealer, this player gets the whitehead card. And I think let's do at least part of the next round just to give you a little bit more examples here. And in this case the orange player will start this new round with a white hat in their hand. Let's have a look at the starting hand of the white player. Again, another triplet here, double, a double, and a joker. I think something we can work with. In this case black will lead the first trick, being quote unquote to the, I think, right of the whitehead player. Again, I'm playing this a little bit differently down here because just of recording reasons. And yeah, I think that seems to be a very powerful first trick. Let's see if that really will do us any good actually, but that's a pretty strong move. And yeah, it's in theory 6 points we are playing out of our hands. And then orange would be in fact next, and I guess for now they're okay not winning this trick, at least I think. Yeah, let's play a simple 10 down here over to white, and in fact white could win this trick with a joker and these 2 12s here, and then with a triple 1 they could move even further ahead, and then we still have the double 8. I think that's a pretty strong move actually. Let's try that. So we are playing those 3 cards. They want to win this trick here. I mean, they are currently in the lead, which again is a bad thing in this game. Those cards are discarded because it's not a whitehead round. This hat is blocked. They cannot move it. This hat is blocked as well. So I think right now they don't have any more options here than to move from the public server to the cell phone, but I think we should be okay moving at least here and maybe in here, and then we are basically losing a point, which again may not be a bad thing in the end. They will lead the next trick, and yeah, I guess we stick to the plan, playing the 3s here. Up next would be black, but actually black is countering that. Should we? Yeah, let's do that actually. They are playing the triple 8 here in this case, again with a joker, and really this is what they didn't think about, that there might be another joker out there. Another pair would be relatively obvious, but yeah, another joker and a pair, that's something, yeah, you have to gamble. But again, white lost in this case. And last but not least, it's the orange player who really seems to have a very bad hand, so I think in this case, yeah, no, let's go for the 13 in this case. Yeah, they do have the white hat in their hand. Everyone knows that, but again, you cannot play only one white hat card when the lead player played, I don't know, multiple cards in this case. And this is this one edge case. If the white hat is basically the only card in your hand and the, let's say, lead player played 2 cards, for example, then that's the one time where you can pass in this game. But yeah, in this case, black has won this trick. Let's discard those cards. This is blocked. This is on a positive space. This is on a positive space. So in this case, yeah, I think let's move on to the email account. It's still a game, but we have to move anyway, and I think right now timing wasn't bad at all, and we could move maybe to the user account a little bit later. And then yeah, they have to lead the next trick, and they're down to 4 cards, but no, I think that's the same for the white player actually. So they're simply playing this simple 9 here, and as orange really wants to win this trick now, they are going to play joker on top. Playing it on its own is a 14. Yes, another joker could now beat it as well, because again the tiebreaker always goes in the favor of the player who played last, but I think in this case, yeah, that's not gonna happen. It's now an interesting piece. Do we want... No, I think that's tough. White has 2 choices. They could either get rid of a high card because they already feel, hey, the round is about to end, or they want to keep themselves in the game to move pawns around, for example. But still we have this 8 here, but in order to get into the lead, they have to basically be able... They're relatively certain we will not see a lot of pairs anymore, and the 8 is also not a very high scoring pair. So I guess they're in the lead. No, let's get rid of the 13, the 0-day one. But again, this means orange has won this trick. So I guess in this case, they're either moving to the email account, but here is also a nice chain here onto the user account. That's only 1 point, that's a 2-point swing. But this is now the perfect combination doing this here actually. They would hop over everything in here. But 2 points are 2 points, right? But again, if this is free and they have to move, then they're moving to 5. No, let's take the opportunity when it is here. Again, maybe they win the next trick too, and then they would move on here. Then I think that's the better deal. Yeah, let's do that. Those cards are discarded. Orange will be next, or rather leading the next trick. The white hat right now, I think there is a good reason to win this trick, and so let's lead with a 12, which is a pretty high card actually, so they're feeling somewhat comfortable. Yeah, white will not be able to beat this one. We have 2 8s and a 4, so let's play the 4 in here, but it's still black. And I guess, yeah, they are basically playing the 6 here. They are fine where they are. The 3 is okay. The 1 is definitely not too bad. So yeah, let's leave it at that. Again, orange won this trick. Unfortunately, we cannot move down here. This is this exit. We cannot move in here. We will jump over here to another 3. So I guess in this case, we are really moving on to the email account. Out from the internet cafe into the email account of our neighbor, who's sitting there in whatever the coffee chain of your choice. And they have to lead the next trick as well. And as they see that both of the players are down to 2 cards, I think it's now really time to get rid of the white hats. Yeah, let's do that. So they're playing those 2 cards out. Or do we play 2 cards? Oh, that's an interesting point. Do we play 2 cards? No, because then he will most likely win this trick, because he's rather certain that no one wants the white hat. No, let's just play the single white hat here in this case. So that's a 14, and again, the rules of the game just have changed, which means the lowest card will win. In this case, white has to play the 8. Right now, they are winning this trick. And yeah, guess what? Black has to play the next lowest card in here, which means they are now going to win this trick, which is definitely a bad thing. Terrible, terrible, terrible. They are still kind of hopeful they might be able to do something about that, but yeah, let's see about that. Again, they have to take the white hat and either all cards or basically one joker card, non-joker card, because one was the card amount that the lead player played. So in this case, they will definitely take the 2 back. The 8 is discarded. That's another point. This goes back to the hand of the black player, and they have to move still. But right now, that's not bad. We definitely do not want to go in here unless they are feeling certain they are able to win. Then they would end up, no, let's not do that. No, let's not do that. So we are moving this head over 1, 2 spaces in here. Again, that's a 3-point to 3-point. Perfectly fine for black. And then they are going to lead the next trick. And I guess they're starting the next trick with the white head card in here. Then it's over to, yeah, oof. Okay, the lowest card will win this next trick. Orange doesn't want this card back, actually. So they are going to play this card in here. They are still winning the trick, but we all know that this is the white head's leftover card. So they don't have any more cards left in theory, but they will now take more cards back into their hand. So again, it's a white head round, so they have to take this and one of those. Does it matter? They will simply take the 8 back. This is getting discarded. They still can move meeple, or they have to move. It's not a can. You have to move pawns around, and only if you're not able to move any pawns, then you are basically penalized by drawing a random card from the deck. So in this case, the only choice they have is to move from the cell phone here to the email account, which is okay. We are losing 2 points. These cards go back into the white player's hand. And yeah, I think I'm going to end my little walkthrough here for today. Again, white would lead the next trick, maybe playing 2 cards because they want to move their pawn, maybe onto this FBI server here, which again is another honeypot, and maybe they don't want to end up with 2 of their meeples in the honeypot. On the other hand, having this on 1 until the end of the game is not a bad thing either, because here are 5s who are waiting there. On the other hand, here is a -5 at the end of the game. So yeah, a lot of things to discuss here, or to decide or consider. Maybe let's have a quick look at some of the other hosts here. So here we have an exploit. A player who goes there is allowed to place one of those exploit marker onto a server of their choosing, a -1 or a +1. So definitely a good thing. Helps them to whatever, adjust the game state, like this one here, for example, or maybe over there. Depends on what they want to do. Up next, we have the randomizer down here. When you are landing on the randomizer, you shuffle this deck of overlay tiles here. You take one, they're double-sided, by the way, then you're drawing this, and then you are allowed to place this onto the board. And yeah, depending on where you are, maybe you can increase your whatever situation in this case. Let's say the black player would have been allowed, say black wouldn't be here, maybe black would have been here on this randomizer. They could say, hey, why not? We are here on a 3, let's place it onto this base here, and then yeah, this is now the new situation. That's another denial of service, which could then also allow them to move one of their opponents back and things like that. And then of course there is the back side of the main game board, which you see a whole lot more of those hosts, a whole lot more of replayability. Again, you can also add more random overlay tiles here, and again, these are double-sided, so the game can look pretty different each time you play it, which is something I really do enjoy. Apart from that, there is also a very cool variant, which is called the celebrity status. So during setup, each player will draw one of those cards randomly, and of course they are hidden. And the goal of this game mode is to basically come to your celebrity point score, again, as close as possible, and whoever is achieving this is winning. So in this case, maybe you got here celebrity status over 50. I think this is the highest card in the deck. So in this case, you really want to jump to the higher spaces on the board rather than the low one. Whereas someone with a 10 here wants to play it basically very standard to the, or very close to the standard idea of the game, scoring as little as possible. And here with a, let's say, medium kind of level, you have to balance things out a little bit. That's really something which I definitely do enjoy quite a bit. Again, I already mentioned the solo mode of the rules. Then there is also the tracer card, which is an integral part of the solo mode, but you can also add it to the normal mode of the game. So when you end on the FBI server, you can also bring out tracers onto the port, and once this happens, we are moving this to the other side, and then whoever this tracer marker gets, I think these are let me pull one out, I think these are those guys here. When they catch a player, this player pawn is then moved onto the jail. Any amount of players can be there, and they will score 5 points until the end of the game. And yes, that's a misprint on this card. You see these 5 black dots here. That's the actual amount of penalty points that you will get. Again, there is this the 2-player variant. So basically a lot of ways how you can tweak this game, which again is something I really do enjoy. And yeah, that's basically how you play Whitehead in a 3-player game. Again, it's only a short play. For doing a full playthrough for a trick-taking game and really simulating more than whatever one player is, I don't know, feels rather odd. That's why I really focused on, let's say, the core game mechanics here. Pretty sure I have missed a lot of intricacies and a lot of interesting decisions here. But anyway, I really do hope you enjoyed my little video here. Huge shout out to all of my patrons out there. Really do appreciate your support. The same is true for my channel members, by the way. Definitely check out the campaign on Gamefound. Yes, you will definitely find a link in the description of this video. It will pop up during this video too. So definitely go check it out. And if you like what you see, definitely grab yourself a copy. And yeah, with that being said, hope to see you soon in one of my other videos. And yeah, until then, bye bye.